is the ride.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
Welcome back to Mock Show 570. I'm Carolyn Clarkson.
And I'm Wade Barron. Some people believe anxious fans at Saturday's football games may be creating a dangerous situation.
Reporter CJ Gann joins us to tell us more about the crazy scene in front of Sanford. CJ, there were even some concerns about serious injuries, right?
You're right, Carolyn. Some students were so excited to get into the stadium on Saturday that they pushed each other forward and backward, almost running over other students in the process. Brittany Wu is a UGA student who attended her first UGA game on Saturday. She says she was excited to go to the game, but got separated from her friends and thought it could be her last game at Sanford.
I was like sandwiched at the same time, but then I kind of I was short, so I didn't know if I was falling or stuff, but I thought I was gonna die.
Wu is one of many students who is not happy with the current seating policy. However, the UGA Athletic Association has already changed the policy once this year. After the first home game of the season against the Clemson Tigers, the Athletic Association switched to the new policy, which tells students they can only enter one gate and get a wristband for a certain section. UGA Police Chief Jimmy Williamson says one of the problems for this weekend was a supply and demand issue. He says the rush of people at the gates reminds him of an unofficial holiday that will happen in about 10 days.
It's no different than Black Friday. Black Friday, if they got a $500 item, they're selling $50. What do the TV news people show? They show this mad rush of people all trying to run to get the 20 or 30 that are for $50.
Brittany Wu says it was worth it because the dogs won. But she hopes in the future there is another change that will solve the Sanford seating problem.
Honestly, I don't think I would wait in line again like that. There's got to be a better way.
Perfect. Now, we did talk to one student who didn't think it was that bad. Emily Gallagher says she thought it would actually be worse than it was, and although she was pushed a little bit while waiting in line, she says she never felt any danger for her life. Live from the newsroom, I'm CJ Gann. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, CJ. There are fears the same problem will come up again when the Alabama Crimson Tide rolls into Athens next year.
The Athletic Association wishes they had that problem at basketball games. Fans at basketball games are just as enthusiastic as fans at football games, but the problem is there are not many of them. Officials don't expect tonight's attendance at UGA's game against Stony Brook to be overwhelming. One official says UGA fans have proven that they will support a team that performs well. Other factors include the day of the week, start time, and opponent. He recognizes the challenge, but he thinks it's important that local communities support the Dogs.
In these sports, you want fans in the stands cheering for you. Anybody does better when you have support.
UGA is playing a home game in the next week. Tickets are $5 with a coupon and free for students.
Football season is all but over for a few of the private schools in the area. In the Georgia High School Association, both Prince Avenue Christian and Athens Christian Academy are still in the running for the state championship. Both teams' playoff matchups will be this Friday. Region 8 Single A champion Prince Avenue Christian will play number 12 First Presbyterian Day on Friday at Brad Atkins Field at 7:30. Playing on their home turf in McDonough, Region 4 Quad A champion Eagles Landing will host number 11 Athens Christian Academy Friday night at 7:30. Representing the Georgia Independent School Association, Monsignor Donovan has advanced to the semifinals after their 35-14 win against Southwest Georgia Academy last Friday. Head coach Kurt Page says it's an exciting opportunity for us to play for the rights to advance to take home the title of state champions. This is Monsignor's first year competing in the Georgia Independent School Association. The Rams will play the Piedmont Academy Cougars this Friday at 7:30 at Cougar Field in Monticello, Georgia.
Coming up, find out what local businesses are preparing to do for Black Friday.
Buzz, what's up, man? You left some leaves burning out here.
Yeah, I just just came in just for a second.
Come on, man. If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. You could torch the whole neighborhood.
It's a good point there, Smokey.
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
I'm one unlucky guy. The chance of being involved in a robbery is 1 in 757. The chances of being struck by lightning. 1 in 750,000.
Please fasten your seatbelts for unexpected turbulence.
The chances of being a victim in an airline crash? 1 in 29 million. Hey, could I get some peanuts? The chances of being involved in a car crash are far greater than lightning strikes and plane crashes. And if you are texting while driving, your risk of crash increases 23 times. Now, I may be an unlucky guy, but I don't have to be part of that statistic, and neither do you. Drive responsibly.
Ballerina.
Sometimes all it takes to be a dad is remembering how to be a kid again. Take time to be a dad today.
Welcome back to Mock Show 570. I'm Kenna Rogers.
And I'm Aaron Jones. Major retailers are pulling out all the stops to get your hard-earned dollar on Black Friday, or should we say Black November. Reporter Adeline Kennerly tells us the traditional Black Friday shopping frenzy is changing. Okay, Adeline, how is it changing?
Well, Aaron, for one thing, Black Friday sale at some stores, just like this one, is going to last longer than just one day. That's good news for consumers this Thanksgiving that want to eat turkey and visit with their family, but not miss out on those Black Friday shopping sales. Shoppers waiting for hours in the freezing cold and then rushing madly into stores to snatch the best deals. This is the scene of the Friday after Thanksgiving. Walmart Stores Incorporated is doing away with the frenzied one-day-only Black Friday sales model that has traditionally jump-started the holiday shopping season. The world's biggest retailer instead will offer its best deals over a 5-day period, beginning the last week of November into early December. Walmart and other retailers will have some of their biggest discounts online to better cater to shoppers who may want to shop from the comfort of their homes. Walmart U.S. Chief Merchant Duncan McNaughton said, "It used to be called Black Friday, then it became Thursday. Now it's a week long, so maybe we should just call it November." One local Black Friday shopper, Courtney Alvis, cherishes her family's Black Friday shopping tradition.
Well, after Thanksgiving, we clean up and take a nap for a little bit and then just get hot chocolate and pick where we want to go.
Courtney has mixed feelings about how Walmart is changing their Black Friday sales this year.
I feel like it's kind of weird that they're trying to make Black Friday also Thanksgiving and then all week, but I mean, it's Black Friday, so I just like the Friday.
As Black Friday gives way to Gray Thursday, Cyber Monday, and now Walmart's week-long holiday sale, strategizing for the best deals can be quite a challenge for Black Friday shoppers. Another big challenge for Black Friday shoppers will be the weather. It may be just a little bit chilly on Friday. I'll tell you the forecast later tonight.
Big names like Target are promoting pre-Black Friday sales.
Black Friday sales may be skyrocketing for the big stores, but here in Athens, local businesses say they cannot compete. 570 reporter Kimberly Johnson finds out just how the local stores will do this holiday season.
The garlands and Christmas lights are going up in downtown Athens in preparation for the holiday season. but sales at local retail stores are not. This is Devin Clower's 5th Black Friday as owner of Frontier, and she says Frontier, like many other local businesses, will not participate in the holiday sales.
Well, for us, regular Black Friday for our customers seems to just be kicking off the holiday shopping season. They're not really looking for bargains, so we don't really see a need to do sales.
Shoppers are looking for a big deal this holiday season. Business consultant Richie Knight says this is probably why small businesses do not get the big rush of customers. He says that there are ways that local businesses can attract shoppers into their stores.
We always encourage folks to do things different, like host a coffee and donut hour at your location, early before the retailers open or during the rush, just to try to catch folks while they're coming in and out.
And that's just what Frontier will do. Although Frontier won't be giving out sales this year, they will offer customers something a little different.
We are creating an event out of it just by having hot cider out, and we offer complimentary gift wrapping, so we're just kind of kicking off the holiday season with Black Friday.
Local businesses will just have to depend on loyal customers who prefer a cup of cider over long lines and red tags at the big stores.
If big crowds and early mornings are not your thing, Snapchat may be the way to get your gifts this holiday season.
Holiday shopping just got a little more interesting for Snapchat users. Snapchat and Square have teamed up to create Snapcash, an app that lets you send money from your phone directly to a friend's bank account. Oh, yeah. It's quite simple. All users have to do is swipe into the app's messenger, type a $sign and the amount you want to transfer, and hit send. Snapcash was released to make payments faster and can be used by anyone 18 or older with a debit card. Attention all holiday shoppers, reporter Adeline Kennerly was able to check on the weather for our Black Friday shoppers. Will we need to pack our hand warmers, Adeline?
Well, Aaron, it'll start out it'll start out nice and sunny, and so you'll be okay near the beginning of the week, but then as we get closer to Thanksgiving, it'll be getting a little bit cooler here on Thursday, and then as you can see on Friday morning, it is going to be cold, and you may not only need your hand warmers, you might need your umbrella as well with a 40% chance of rain. I'm Adeline Kennerly, and that's your 5-day forecast for your Thanksgiving week.
So Adeline, are we going to be needing any of that for the next game coming up?
As far as I know, the next game will be more of the same, and that means cold. So yes, pack your blankets, pack your hand warmers, and it'll be another cold game this coming Saturday.
You can do anything on the internet, from checking the weather to getting updates from politicians. Next, learn how social media is affecting politics.
Mom, can we get some ice cream? Please, Mom, please.
No, we're having dinner soon.
Please.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.
For those dealing with the daily struggles of caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community with experts and other caregivers to help us better care for ourselves and the ones we love.
Oh, look, a redhead. Staring contest. You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
You were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
You sure you don't want some? It's chamomile.
Listen, you are extremely terrifying. Just the scariest undead subhuman thing on TV, and I really mean that. But I am worried that you could give my kids nightmares if they see you, so I'm gonna have to block you. So that's it. Oh, and tell the zombies they're blocked too.
Candidates are using social media as a cost-effective way to reach the public, but it may also be providing ways for candidates to avoid campaign finance laws. Reporter Michaela Singleton spoke with a local social media expert who told us exactly how social media change the approach of politics.
Kenna, more and more people are either using a computer like the one behind me, or more likely, a smartphone like this to click and scroll for their political news.
Finding your local candidate is a process that takes less than a few seconds. Voters have been getting more of their political information through social media. According to the Pew Research Internet Project, 28% of voters use their cell phones to track political news during this month's midterm election. That doubles the statistic of 13% in 2010. According to the study, the major reason why people said they followed political figures online is to get news before anyone else. Dr. Itai Himmelboehm says social media also equalizes traditional news sources and members of the public in their ability to share news.
And what makes it really unique is that a political candidate, an institution, the government, you and I, and the media, in terms of the technology, are just the same. We are all users.
Tweets like these appear to share poll data for House races. It's illegal to share information between campaigns and outside sources to focus time and money. Dr. Himmelboehm also said creating online limitations for candidates would be difficult to enforce without restricting the public as well.
But setting rules that we don't plan to enforce in any way, I'm not completely sure what the point is, but that might be related to change between one rule or standards to another.
Dr. Himmelboehm says that although social media is on the rise as a political news outlet, traditional media sources have created their own online resources in an attempt to keep up. Back to you, Kenna.
The Twitter accounts allegedly posting poll data were deleted after their users were contacted by the news media. You know how some people are obsessed with social media? It is actually past porn as the #1 activity on the internet. Now, social media sites are trying to keep users connected in 2015 by doing 3 things, starting, of course, with money.
Facebook already started using an autofill feature like this one for credit card information to make checkout quicker on 450,000 online sites. Hackers discovered a hidden payment feature in Facebook's new Messenger app that isn't activated yet, but could be in 2015. It would let their users send money to each other with no charge. Twitter has tested a buy button on some of their tweets and posts earlier this year. The buy button would let users buy things in just a few clicks without ever leaving Twitter. After seeing the explosion of so-called anonymous social media like Yik Yak, Facebook is hoping to compete. In 2015, Facebook wants to start an anonymous chat room. It'd be different from its competitors because it wouldn't ask for you to reveal your location.
Be on the lookout for these changes sometime next year. After the break, we'll give you a quick recap of what's going on today.
None of Athens residents use septic systems, and if you're on a septic system, you need to know it and protect it. Most homes should have their septic system pumped and inspected every 3 to 5 years. Septic failure can lead to messy backups, health and environmental hazards, and costly repairs. So, protect your septic system by performing regular maintenance. Never use a toilet as a trash can, and use water wisely. For helpful tips and more info on septic systems, visit athensclarkcounty.com/septic.
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. That single ember can ignite and destroy your home or even your community. You can't control where that ember will land, only what happens when it does. Get Fire Adapted now at fireadapted.org.
So good to see you guys.
So, what's up?
Oh, we finally bought a place.
Holy cow.
You seriously have enough saved to do that?
We've been putting a little aside each month.
Jeez, at the end of the month, we have nothing left to save.
Yeah, I have no idea where it goes.
Well, you're spending a lot on...
Is it good? Oh, God. Oh, how is my account overdrawn?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at beatthepig.org.
Welcome to the Athens-Clarke County Tennis Center in Athens, Georgia. Completed in 2013, the Tennis Center offers great play all year round on 12 fully lit hard surface courts. There are accommodations for spectators and enough space to host a tournament. The main building features energy-efficient construction, ADA accessibility, a covered pavilion, and much more. Players of all ages enjoy open play, clinics, and summer tennis camps at the Athens-Clarke County Tennis Center. Because in Athens, Georgia, tennis is for everyone.
Welcome back to Mock Show 570. I'm Wade Barron. Well, tonight we told you about UGA has just accepted the biggest class of new dogs in school history and the brightest as well, and they found out 2 weeks earlier than most have in the past.
All those new students may have a new way of getting into Sanford. Some students did not think handing out wristbands at the gates was a good idea, but it is up to the student government to decide if we need another change.
Many Athens-based businesses are choosing to do too much for Black Friday. Their customers are less concerned with getting deals.
Tonight, we showed you some of the new ways social media is changing now and in the future. It's reshaping everything from the way we buy and get our information to how our children will grow up. From all of us here at 570, thank you for watching, and we hope to see you next time. Have a great evening.
The student production of the Grady College of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of Georgia, which is solely responsible for its contents. Views expressed do not represent those of the administration nor the Board of Regents at the University System of Georgia.
It's terrifying, it's disgusting, and it must be stopped. Throughout downtown Athens, mindless zombies are throwing recyclable items in the trash. No! But you can be a hero. Groovy. Use the downtown recycling bins for all your recyclable items. Cans, bottles, paper, and more can all be recycled. So use the downtown bins and don't be a mindless zombie. To save this world, we must recycle more.
Hart, what's going on? I'm leaving. Why? What did I do? Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit. Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just, please, don't leave. Okay. But remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
I ride the bus.
I ride the bus.
Nosotros usamos el autobús.
Athens Transit would like to remind you that the bus is for everyone. Riding the bus is safe, affordable, and convenient. For work, for shopping, or anything else, the bus can take you there. And when you need a little extra help, the bus is ready to meet your needs. So remember, the bus is for everyone.
I ride the bus.
For routes and complete information about the bus, visit athensclarkecounty.com/transit.
Welcome to the Mock Show 570 post-show critique. I'm Michael Castagero, executive producer. I have the senior producer with me and the senior manager. The old man, the old fart. And the director of the show. As always, I think we'll start first with the senior producer. Talk to us a little bit about the newscast, your thoughts.
All right, guys, we tried something different today. We did two packages or two groups all in both A and B block, and then we switched over to C and D block. It was totally different. I thought overall for a new, fresh thing to do, it went all right. It went semi-well. We were slow on all the deadlines, and that is that is my fault entirely for A, not being a big enough jerk, B, not making stuff clear to everybody, and C, time-wise, I was not, I did not know enough about the packages to know what the TRTs was, which added to a problem up in the newsroom. Time-wise, throughout the show, it landed right on time, so I know we had to rush that E-block, but we could do that. We weren't light, which I'd rather be heavy than light, and I'd rather be heavy in the very last E-block to get that all done than anywhere else.
I'd rather be light in the E-block because I can tap dance, but if I'm heavy, we ran over.
Yeah.
So, no, when I get out, I can tell my anchors to BS with the best of them, but if I'm tight, I just walked into the next commercial, which is what we did, so minor adjustment.
Okay. Another note is don't look like a deer in the headlights when the camera first hits you off a commercial break. Be ready for anticipate you coming back on air. There was a few times that we jumped from commercial and we had no idea that we were back on air. So just go ahead and make sure you're always ready to speak when you're getting those countdowns from commercial break. I have a few more things individually that I'll email y'all out, but
no,
overall,
we'll go through that because we're going to go through each individual block, but okay. I wanted you to give an overview, just like we want the director now to give an overview of the newscast.
Well, it was my first time directing, so thank you for bearing with me. There were a lot of mistakes, I think, but
You think?
Yeah, a lot of mistakes. But like I mean, Jake knows I've been avoiding directing like the plague since the beginning of the semester, but overall, I mean, you guys put forth a lot of great effort, and I liked all of your stories. They were great. They've gotten a lot better since the beginning of the semester. But yeah, as far as me directing, I think trial and error is what's going to help out here. So
I mean, everyone's first is always the biggest challenge, and we did throw you a couple of loops and things. Yeah, thanks. Well, I was looking for curveballs. And that's part of the whole process. So it's part of the learning process. So, Mr. Lieber, what did you learn today?
What did I learn? Well, I learned that this has nothing to do with the news source, but the song from Peanuts, it's like, the name of that song is called Linus and Lucy. Yeah. I never knew that was the name. I thought that was cool. It should be.
Which one are you, Linus or Lucy?
Lucy. Yeah, so communication. We need you guys to communicate with us. And if something's wrong, tell us and let us know. And this goes for our crew as well, for our floor directors and for everyone down here. I'm sorry, it's completely ridiculous that you weren't mic'd up until the block before you started. I mean, that's the sort of thing that you get down on the floor, you mic yourself up. I mean, I realized that you didn't have your mic on with 30 seconds left in the commercial break. And I was like, are you kidding me? So please tell us if something's wrong, if we're missing a clip or something, please tell us, okay? It's all communication. You need to free flow with us, go through Zach, he tells the director tells the crew. That's how it works, okay? So try to be cognizant of that in the future. So I felt like today there was not very good communication. I liked doing this way. I think it was good. You guys tried to do something different. I think it could have worked really well, but we got flustered with little things like that and all different types of things. So, but I just wanted to say that point. Always try to let us know if something's wrong or something's going on.
Part of that self-protection. You know, if I'm out there, and we've had this conversation before, if it's my face on air, you bet your sweet bippy, you know, I'm checking to see where the cameras are. I'm going to make sure I know what my shots are. I'm going to make sure my mic's on. I'm going to see where my position is. It's a two-way street. The floor crew has the responsibility, but you'd be a fool not to protect yourself. And that's what we need to do, is make sure a little bit better communication. So, anything else?
That's all I have to say. Yep.
Cool. I'm going to ask the assignment editor who's joined us, any thoughts overall for today?
He cleared my point. I was going to say communication. I feel like in the past we've been better at being a team as a whole rather than being teams separately. So I think we need to work on that, being a team as a whole and working to help everyone and make sure that everyone's getting in on time and getting their stories when they need to be done, or getting the information ahead of time too.
Yeah, can I add something real quick to that? Even though you might not get along with the people in your group, we're still a team and you still got to help them out, and we still have to make sure everything is working 110% because it is showtime and it needs to be working. It doesn't matter if this is your worst enemy, it doesn't matter if you're your best friend, you gotta have this stuff done all together, make sure it's a whole, because you are a team.
Yeah, it really becomes critical. In fact, on that same note, I was going to send a note out after last week's game, right? After they did that 97-yard touchdown run, right? And the one dumbass basically blew the entire 97-yard touchdown run because of a holding penalty. And really, as much as anything I can think of, that says it. You know, that one person could have screwed the entire game up. Well, the same thing applies here. Each one of you is responsible. You know, you've got basically in this group, you got 14 people. Each one of you is responsible for 7% of that show. And yes, those two take the primary and me the ultimate, but each one of you take a piece of it. And if you don't fill up your 7%, that means somebody else is carrying your load. Doesn't happen that way.
I had one more thing to add too, is coming off the team comment. I know it's hard because we're all still learning to get like our stuff in on time. We're still learning how to write and get it all done on deadline, but I realized how aggravating it is for senior producer and assignment editors that are coming up or have been in the past to set deadlines and then have people laugh at you and be like, that's not gonna happen. I mean, I know it's hard. I know it's hard, we've all been there. I think it's hard too, but you really have to try to realize that your classmates that are senior producer or assignment editor are setting deadlines for a reason because they need to be done. And don't just like laugh at us and think we're just your classmates. It's kind of like we're in a boss position. So, I mean, take it as it is, but I mean, it's in the real world, you're not gonna be able to laugh at your senior producer and be like, yeah, sorry, that's not gonna work.
Yes, we know what the executive producer does in those instances.
Yes.
Okay, couple of points. This is your second to last show. Think about that. And think about where you started. Yeah, you got one more after this, right? Got the break, and then that's it. After the break, we got one more. So I would sort of echo a little bit of what Danielle said, because she's actually been watching, and so's Jake and everything else. You guys have made a lot of improvements. We still got a long way to go. But my goal was to make sure you guys are better prepared going into New Source than any other previous class, and we're pretty damn close to it. And that's where I want to be. Let me make a couple of overall statements, and then we'll go block by block as we normally do. Local. Okay, we had a couple of pieces that basically are national, and we didn't localize them. You got to localize all times, every story. All right. If I want a national story, guess what? We're not going to compete with CBS, ABC, NBC, or CNN. It's the local that makes us win. In national stories, you got to give me a local twist on it. Relate it to your audience. In your writing, try reading the scripts aloud. Every time I've come back to edit you guys, I sit there and say, okay, tell me what you just said, or even worse, read it. And a couple of you read it, and it's like, I'm sorry, you're slobbering over yourself because it's so damn long. You know, it's impossible. Simple declarative sentences, and talk as if you're a nice place. We're on the sound bites, just real quick. For some reason, you all have gotten this hang up, and some others do too, and I don't know where you're getting this, that you have to do this big formal introduction. And I'm not picking on you, but that was the one that, you know, the assistant director for marketing and toilet paper at the Association Athleticus, you know, George Barkley said, I don't need all that. You know, all I need is a UGA official. Okay? I often don't need that. If I write properly, what I write flows into the soundbite. Okay? The other thing is, for some reason, you've also picked up this habit of back timing your sound bites in. I'm sorry, I looked at some dude's face, and he's a nice looking young man, but I didn't need to look at his face for 10 or 15 seconds before a sound bite. Not. It just is. There's no video, and I'm sitting there, the reporter's talking, and I'm looking at this guy, and I can see his lips moving. And I thought either he's had a sex change, or we really haven't done a very good job of our video, all right? Don't back time the sound bites to stream. There's only about 2 or 3 seconds. That's all you need. We learned a lesson, I hope, about the rundown. The only person that touches it, in this case it's him, is the senior producer. Nobody screws with the rundown except the producer, because we got caught a little bit, and we got caught in there. Last one is, I know you're all wonderful and famous and everything else, but you do have to get introduced, as we didn't do, because Guess what? The director had no idea there was a reporter, and quite frankly, neither did the executive producer and senior producer. I'm sorry. It's always going to be reporter so-and-so has it, and make it a conversation. You know, if it's a formal package, you can just throw to the package. If the person's live, you're having an intelligent conversation. You say, Kenna, what did you think? You know, that was an interesting point. Why did they do that? And Kenna says, they did it because it flows. Okay, so those are the overall ones I'd pick out. So again, second to last, and we're off and running. We'll see how your last one goes, huh? But let's talk about this one. So why don't we start with the first block?
Okay, I'm Sophie. I produce the A block with Wade and Mallory. First of all, I really like working with you guys. I think you're both so reliable, and I can really depend on you guys to say, this is what I'm doing, I'm gonna do it this way, and we get it done. And I never have to stress, I don't really have to worry, I'm just they're gonna finish, and it's gonna look great. So you guys rule. Wade, I think you could stand to maybe put some life into your presentation.
Maybe you sit there and I look at you and
you look
it's
just
like,
kind
oh,
of scared,
the macro.
the camera's gonna just curve.
What's that big white thing in front of me? My God, it's a camera. Okay, relax.
Definitely. What I like when I joke at you from up there, you're smiling and everything, then straight back to straight face.
Yeah, I know.
And
Yeah. I mean, if I could see the face that you got now, I'd be a happy
it's great.
camper.
It's a great face.
Well, I'm not talking about student debt, but I'm also not going to sit there and say, not a single muscle on this face is going to move until I finish talking.
Truthfully, Castagnera, you did scare us, I think, week 1 and week 2 by yelling at us constantly, you cannot smile when you're talking about.
I don't want you to smile. You're right.
You cannot smile. I think we were all a little scared after that one.
Yeah, that is true. It has to be appropriate to the story, and there are some times, and obviously, but the ones that we get criticized, I will say more than anything else, is, I'm sorry, 6 people are dead tonight. I'm so damn happy about it, I can't believe it. You know, the only thing better is if they died of a marijuana overdose. You know, I can't say it, whatever. Yeah, that's the silliness.
Mallory, I thought your presentation was very nice. You have this very sweet speaking voice, and I thought it looked good. And I thought you both were able to get good shots in short notice. I thought they were the best part of both packages, just you guys talking.
Yeah, on the admissions package, I thought you had a lot of good information in there, a lot of real people, so that was great. A slight difference, I thought the facial going in and out was good. You actually, you actually looked like you were thinking. If you look at it, it's interesting. As you tossed it a package, you went, and then it was just a little nod. That's facial expression, and that conveys an enormous amount to the audience. Okay, intonation. Don't worry about your voice. Some people we have to talk about coaching, but you don't. You are still tending to, I'm going to deliver this in the best way possible, as opposed to just a little more natural, that's all.
Then the last thing I would just say for Wade, just kind of keep an eye on when the camera switches to the next one. I know Danielle was a new director, so her switching was kind of delayed, but just if you can see both, maybe just switch with it instead of before and then waiting for it to switch.
And a lot of times if you're caught off guard, just look down like you're reading for the viewer. The worst one is gone. Ta-da! Yeah, surprise! Holy mackerel, my own camera. No, I'm on this one. As opposed to, well, yes, I actually am an anchor and I know how to look up and look at the other camera. What do you do? Okay?
That's all I have.
The student debt package I also thought had a lot of good info in it, and I thought that was good, so good. Probably a little bit more, yeah. Stand in front of the guy with the facial expression.
Okay, well, I'm Jalen Carter, and I was producer for the B block. I think you guys did awesome, personally. That's just me. Carolyn Anchor, I think that you did a good job with reading, and I know that there was an issue with the graphics or whatever, but I think you did a good recovery, and it was a tongue twister, so big ups to Carolyn. CJ, I think when you did your little remote thing in the newsroom, I think you did really well.
It's the best you've done.
You did the forward.
Yeah,
you did the
everybody said the
backward.
same thing. Oh, this is the guy that whispers when he delivers.
I'm CJ.
Yeah, you got a lot more natural, a lot more feel to it.
And I know you were really stressed out about your package and everything. I think that your package actually came out really well.
About that, so my story was the Sanford Stadium seating problem story, and it was a good story, I think, to do because it's new and it happened Saturday. But the problem was I had no good B-roll of fans lining up and fans in the stadium because I didn't have a camera to take in the stadium on Saturday. So I'll give a quick shout out to my girl Sierra. She found some good stuff for me to put in, and then I put it in the package.
My girl Sierra.
I think
that's the name
good.
of a book.
So, thank you, Sierra. I really appreciate it, and I think it went all right at the end.
If I can give you any suggestions, just breathe, drink some water.
Yeah.
It'll be okay. It'll be okay. Did you want to say something?
No, I'm letting you finish. I will.
One thing I will say on packages, though, I kind of noticed this in a lot of people's, is like framing. I feel like we give people too much room up here and not enough this room, but we need more this room to throw in that ugly lower third. So remember that.
Cool.
We know that they have a head, just, where's it? Yeah. And when you're ending your package, don't end with you in the shot. Because it's like you're in the shot with this person, then we're cutting back to you in the newsroom. It's like, how did he get from there to there? You know,
Yeah, that's a good
Shumway taught
point.
me that. Shout out to Shumway. Yeah, okay. And I think that's it for my block. I think you guys did a really good job. And I know this isn't my place, but Adeline, Kenna, I think you guys did great too. Because like, I feel like you guys had like some hiccups, but I think that you recovered like really well. And just like with my block, you guys had some hiccups too. And I feel like what makes you a good reporter or a good anchor is like, not if you don't mess up, it's how you recover. Because like mistakes are gonna happen, but how do you handle it?
That's a good point.
You know, so
Yeah.
I think that you guys did good, and you too. So, yeah.
And I'd probably echo some of what she said. I thought, and quite frankly, in retrospect, the stadium seating might have been the better lead for the newscast because that was a good story. In fact, when we played it, a couple of people in the booth said, we thought the news source people should have done that on Monday. And I'm thinking, God, I was kicking myself thinking.
Fight for it. We didn't have a tournament to see who was going to get A block.
Oh, true, we didn't.
I was ready to throw down for A block.
Should have. This should have been the A block lead. I mean, without a doubt, I think that was a big story. I mean, the admissions is a good story, solid, but the stadium seating and all that, yeah, they're skirting right on the edge on that and how they're handling it. And I'm the one of them all, with my back to the camera, that says I don't want to get too UGA focused, but there are some stories that extend way beyond that, and this is one of those. There's 98,000 people, of which 92,000 were getting crushed. So I think that's a pretty good story.
So.
All right. C block.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Johnson. I was producer for C Block.
And much to everybody's surprise, reporter.
Yeah, right. Surprisingly enough, our group had our lead the first. We had the idea of what we were gonna do this week. It didn't look that way when it was on air, but on Sunday night, I believe, we had already put online that this is what we're doing, and I think that has a lot to do with me. I would like to start off with Adeline. What's so funny, guys?
Kimmy, why don't you just say, I am wonderful.
No. I had a lot to do with, I said it didn't come out that way on air, and I think that had a lot to do with me, the way it didn't come out on air.
herself under the bus.
Oh, boy, that was a reverse throw. I couldn't. Okay.
I'm so fabulous that I can't even throw myself under the bus. Damn. Okay. But I want to say, Adeline, you did an amazing job. The package, really well. I love how the audio just lined up with the visuals. It was perfect. And going out on the weather, I think you did really well on the weather wall, and being able to get thrown into a position like that and execute it that well, I think you did a good job. And thank you for getting all your packages in on time and everything like that, and starting early, getting those interviews. Appreciate it. Aaron, thank you for getting everything I asked you to get done today. I think we had a bit of an issue on package 2, and we had an issue early on, and I think I should have noticed that, cancel it, and say, you know what, Kimmy, VOSOT. Because I had an interview, and we had to use the MLC camera. It was AVC HD. It wouldn't work with the computer. And after looking at that package, I was like,
Yeah.
it wasn't worth being on air. I think that I
Well, it
should have
was
made an executive
some of
decision.
some of the shots, et cetera, on that were just like, ew.
Yeah, I literally put that package together in 20 minutes. Is that right, Sophie, or less? It just wasn't. It wasn't worth it. It should have been a VOSOT. On your anchoring, when he said that we need to not look like a dare when we come off commercials. I think throughout the entire thing, I think when you mess up on something, you always are like this. And you do that, like you did on the last one, you did on this one. But I don't think that it's something that you can't like fix. Just kind of breathe, and when you're speaking, and when you think you're gonna mess up, like don't panic. I think when we panic that's when we can't recover ourselves, and the audience can see that. Okay, and so I think that's the only thing is like when you're on air, like I think that which professor told us this before? One professor told us that when you're on camera, or even when you don't think you're on camera, I assume as if you are. And I think that's one thing that we have to work on as a team to help each other out. When we're on camera, even when you're not on camera, just to be on camera, I guess. And so I think that's all I have for my block.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The mic.
Thank you. I know this isn't my block, but I just want to say something to Adeline. During your package, I was in the control room, and it was rolling, and Jake Lieber said, "Whose package is this?" And then we said it was Adeline's. He said, "I like it." So if he says it's good, you're obviously doing something right. Keep doing you, Adeline Kennelly. Keep doing you. All right.
You go.
Keep doing you. Do I have to learn these phrases? Keep doing you.
Yeah.
Oh, Adeline, keep doing you.
I'll catch you up on the lingo.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
As a senior producer.
I think, you guys went in well. That was fine. And the package, and I thought the ins and outs you handled well. And I knew I threw you a curve when we did the weather, and then I said, guess what? She's going to ask you a question.
Oh, I messed up so much on that question. I was
No,
like,
you didn't.
how is I was like,
No, you weren't actually. No, it didn't come across nearly as much. We were a little awkward coming in and out because we were switching at that time, and then we were doing it. But the key is, and the other one is, and it's always awkward when you're on the weather.
You want to look.
Yeah, I know. And you kept going, there they are.
I told her, and I was like, why do I keep looking over there? But it was like, I don't know. I think if I ever did it, oh, sorry. I think if I got the chance to do the weather again, I would get it way, way more. But since it was like, I don't know, it's just, that was my natural instinct, was to look at the person
Sure.
that asked me the question, even though it looked like I was just looking over at
I wasn't
nothing.
sure if I was supposed to look over at her either.
No, you guys are working because, again, you created an illusion. This is a little different when we're doing the post show because this is obviously natural. But theoretically, if I was doing it, you're darn right. I'm looking at that camera, and that's my whole point, and that's it. And I'm talking to the audience, and I'm talking to him, even though I'm looking there, okay, for the audience. And that's the way they perceive it. And
Yeah, I
that's
definitely caught that, but it was kind of like,
yeah, that little, oh, there they are. No, there they are. Yeah. Yeah, and you got to get.
Definitely looked at her by
Yeah.
mistake because I was like, oop.
Yeah, you got to get a little more comfortable. And again, I'm going to give you as an object lesson for everybody. If in doubt, close your lips. Stop. Okay? Look down. I keep telling you that. Look, you're supposed to have scripts in front of you, and the only thing that the viewer is going to think is that you are actually thinking about what you're saying. You got so poleaxed at one point you even went, oh yeah. It's like, oh,
Well, yeah,
crap.
and it didn't help that there was a pause in the video.
Oh, yeah.
Too. I was just like,
I know,
oh, yeah.
and this is a good point, don't pause at all. We've said this
Yeah, I
before.
realize
If there's video, there's supposed to be video, it's not there, that's none of your damn business. That's the director. If you pause, you've just made it worse. And quite frankly, we were running long the whole show, but we probably picked up at least a couple of minutes just by people saying, I'm gonna wait for the video, I'm gonna wait for the video, you know? And at that point, several of the person heard me go ballistic in there. All right, next block.
Okay, I was producer for the D block. I say we ended up doing okay, but we definitely came in today frustrated and defeated because there's a lack of communication. You need to talk to each other. We need to talk to each other about our interviews, what we're doing, what we think. We need to throw out more ideas than just the first person who says something, and we need to not just jump on that. We need to go back and forth and communicate more. That's my biggest thing.
The biggest issue is exactly that, and I've hit that same thing talk it back and out. Challenge each other to think it through. As when he decided he wanted to try something different on the newscast, my response isn't to say no. My response is to say, I want to see what you want. I want to see what it's doing. Make me think too. Hell, I'm a little bit older than all of you, and I'm still doing that to myself and to others, and you've got to do that more, because that's what makes it sharper and better. Absolutely. Cool. Okay. You want to say something about the E-Block?
Yeah, I don't need that.
You don't need that, but she might.
Oh, there you go. E-Block was rushed, so that is on me for it being rushed. So I apologize about y'all having to stumble. I did tell anchors to have something in an hour and a half before it needed to be in, so make sure y'all got your tags in. There was like one or two groups come rundown time that wasn't in the script on on the E-Block part. So make sure it's in the script. Make sure you know what your block is about, because there was a few times that we fumbled a little bit because we didn't really know what our block was about. So make sure you know what your block is about. However, having said that, y'all trimmed down time so much, and y'all helped out the newscast by rushing that through, so I apologize about you having to rush, but thank you for doing so. That's all I got.
Do you have anything?
It was rushed, but I'm actually excited to see what people come up with for E-Block as a creative matter. I think it'll look cool if somebody does something different.
Cool.
That's all I have.
All right. One more newscast. That's it, folks. Enjoy your break. Practice moderation.